iconic TV dad. How does that make you feel?
You know that feeling when you hear the words iconic TV dad? For millions of people, that instantly brings to mind one man, the guy who played Carl Winslow on Family Matters. He was the dad everyone wanted, the steady, loving father figure who felt like family. But before he became that beloved face on TV, his journey wasn't easy at all. He was born in Queens, New York, back in 1952 with the name Reginald Johnson. But early on, he made a small change to his name, adding a vowel in the middle to stand out. It might seem like a tiny thing, but it helped him get noticed in a tough business where being memorable is everything. Like many actors, he started with small roles, bit parts here and there, auditions that didn't always go his way. You might have seen him briefly in movies like Ghostbusters or Crocodile Dundee, but those were just stepping stones. Then came the big break. In 1988, he landed the role of Sergeant Al Powell in Die Hard, a movie that would become a classic. Originally, the part was meant for a big star, but when that didn't work out, he got the chance. His chemistry with Bruce Willis was real, and that made the character unforgettable. Suddenly, he wasn't just another actor. He was part of one of the most famous action movies ever made. But it was the next year, 1989, that really changed everything. He was cast as Carl Winslow, the dad on Family Matters. The show was about a working-class family in Chicago, and Carl was the heart of it all. He wasn't perfect, but he was real, a dad who worked hard, loved his kids, and tried to do right by his family. The show became a huge hit, and every Friday night, families across America tuned in to watch Carl's life unfold. For many viewers, Carl Winslow wasn't just a character. He was the dad they wished they had or remembered from their own childhood. Family Matters was part of ABC's famous TGIF lineup, a block of shows that defined family TV for a whole generation. But even as the show grew in popularity, something interesting happened. A guest character named Steve Urkel, who was supposed to be a one-time appearance, became so popular that the show started focusing more on him. That shift meant Carl Winslow, the dad, wasn't always the center of attention anymore. Still, Vel Johnson's role as Carl remained iconic, the steady, dependable father figure who anchored the show and the hearts of millions. After Family Matters ended in 1998, you might think things would get easier for Vel Johnson. After all, he was a household name, right? But the truth is, it got complicated. Hollywood had put him in a box, the police officer and TV dad box. For years, he had played cops, security guards, and father figures, and casting directors just couldn't see him as anything else. It's a common problem for actors who become famous for one kind of role. People love what they know, and the industry often doesn't want to take risks. This typecasting wasn't just about Vel Johnson's talent. It was about how Hollywood saw Black actors at the time. Too often, Black actors were stuck playing stereotypes: criminals, comic relief, or angry characters. Vel Johnson was different. He was the good guy, the respectable, dependable man who didn't make anyone uncomfortable. That made him special, but it also meant he was limited. He couldn't easily break out and try new kinds of roles because the industry wanted him to stay safe and familiar. Vel Johnson did try to stretch his acting muscles. He took on some theater work, like an off-Broadway show called She's All That, and even wrote some short stories that showed a different side of him. One of those stories was turned into a short film where he acted too. These projects let him be creative in ways TV and movies didn't always allow. But even with these efforts, bigger and more varied roles didn't come knocking. The video game world gave him a small break when he got to voice his famous Die Hard character, Sergeant Al Powell, in a game called Die Hard: Vendetta. It was a reminder of how much people loved that character, but also how stuck he was in that role. He could be Carl Winslow or Sergeant Powell, but not much else. That's the tough side of being typecast. It can keep you working, but it can also hold you back. As the years went on, the roles Vel Johnson got became smaller and less important. He showed up in guest spots on TV and in supporting parts of movies, but nothing that really let him shine like before. Hollywood can be tough on aging actors, especially those who have been boxed into certain roles. Leading men sometimes get to play wise elders, but character actors like Vel Johnson often find fewer chances as time goes on. It's a hard reality for someone who gave so much to the industry and to audiences. Just when you think things might settle down, the digital age brought a new kind of challenge for VelJohnson, one he never expected. In 2024, a comedian named Loose Cannon told a wild, made-up story on a podcast. He claimed to have seen VelJohnson in a strange situation with the rapper Diddy at a party. The story was so bizarre and clearly false that most people should have ignored it. But instead, it went viral. Suddenly, VelJohnson's name was everywhere online. Memes, jokes, and rumors spread fast. For a man who had spent decades being America's favorite TV dad, this was a nightmare. The internet can be a cruel place, and once a story like this takes off, it's almost impossible to stop. VelJohnson handled it with grace, simply saying he didn't know the comedian and wished him well. But sadly, denial on the internet often just makes things worse. What made this even harder was the timing. Diddy was already in serious legal trouble, and the fake story got tangled up with real news about his case. People mixed fact and fiction, and VelJohnson got caught in the middle. It was painful to watch a man who had been a symbol of wholesomeness and family values dragged into something so ugly, all because of a lie. Thankfully, not everyone joined the online frenzy. In early 2025, Dave Chappelle, one of the most respected comedians, talked about the rumors on Saturday Night Live. But instead of making fun of VelJohnson, Chappelle used humor to point out how ridiculous the story was. He made jokes about himself instead, showing that comedy doesn't have to hurt people. For VelJohnson, that was a breath of fresh air, someone with a big platform treating him with respect. This whole situation shows how the internet can change lives in ways we never imagined. VelJohnson's career was built on being a trusted, loving father figure on TV. Now, he had to fight to protect that image from a false story that spread like wildfire. It's a reminder that behind every viral rumor is a real person with feelings. At the end of the day, VelJohnson's legacy is about kindness, strength, and the power of being a good dad, something no lie can ever take away.